I actually don't agree with that. Humans recognize how loopy this space is set to get. I mean, we just witnessed one among the biggest movements on this space, but it feels like nobody surely cares. Or maybe they just don't apprehend how large it surely was. So in this video, I actually need to deal with just how positioned Ripple is to completely take over. All the obstacles around us are starting to collapse. Welcome to the channel, all and sundry. For the ones that are new to the channel, optimistically, with the aid of the cease of this video, you do become a subscriber. Let's dive on into this. Published right here from Smoke Dog, due to the fact that it is a quoted publish in which we saw SAB 121 completely repealed, opening up the floodgates for banks and institutions. Institutional buyers are approximately to flood the market, and what you have not been paying attention to is the reality that quietly backstage every primary bank, let's say that one extra time, every essential bank in the USA's has been launching blockchain packages and services and products, a few for their institutional customers, others for his or her retail debts. Guys, this consists of Bank of America, Morgan Stanley, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, BlackRock, Schwab, Fidelity, and the Fortune 500 has been all over this too. Starbucks, PayPal, Walmart, Disney, you call it. And buyers are beginning to pay interest, and they may be beginning to flood the market. Let's look into this. Okay, with SAB 121 repealed, starting the doorways for banks, why do I believe that Ripple and XRP are at the forefront of this? Because I absolutely believe that Ripple and XRP are at the forefront of this. Well, permit to start off with this video. You guys probably remember this video clip proper. This is loopy, bank after financial institution. This reaction might be symptomatic of the golden age in which Ripple and the XRP will essentially dominate the market. This is from Paul Barron. Look at this reaction. Look at this reaction. Here's the listing of all Ripple partnerships. You can, of course, see all these specific, man, that is loopy. However, those are all. There may be SBI holdings proper there. It's simply bank after financial institution after financial institution after bank. I imply, there it is, guys. This is, and that's just, this might be just what's in, you know, the coffer proper now versus the deals that they're likely operating these days to start to execute this even extra. So it is this a slumbering giant that could be waiting for an explosion? And you recognize once more, this changed into 6 years in the past when this list of Ripple partnerships were given released. Now, can we confirm every unmarried one on right here these days? It's difficult to do so, okay? I simply want to make that transparent. But we do recognize in the court docket files 1,700 NDAs. We don't know what those contracts have been, but they're NDA'd. We realize that they had been in discussions with like 15 to 30 important banks. I imply, how many partnerships will we assume Ripple has signed within the ultimate, I don't know, 3 years, 4 years? We realize that Brad Garlinghouse did say that they signed up more partnerships in the last 6 weeks than inside the ultimate 6 months in the US. I suggest there must be something like, there needs to be a bigger listing available. So I think it's a very satisfying indication that the startups did actually assemble a list of 25 paws, less than 30, that we don't know about, that Ripple has, that names every single partnership that they have got with every unmarried most important bank. I could simply imagine what that list looks as it. Now, as we do consider this, permits crossover right here. Ripple, over the route of the beyond 4 years, has slowly accumulated hundreds of financial institution customers and money transmitters as part of the RippleNet ecosystem. Since the USA elections, Ripple has signed greater clients than they had inside the previous 6+ months. And this is from Chad. OKN, and this is something that I've been focused on as well. I placed out a submit regarding this, right? I stated people appear to overlook the partnerships that Medico had prior to Ripple acquiring them. Standard Chartered, BBVA, Societe Generale, Swiss Quote, Union Bank of the Philippines, Fifth Third Bank, BNY Mellon, Citigroup, UBS, BNP Paribas, JP Morgan, DZ Bank, VP Bank. Then we have a look at the partnerships that Ripple has with fundamental banks for multiple solutions proper. We have PNC, HSBC, Standard Chartered, SBI Holdings, Fubon Bank, BMO. I mean, guys, the list goes on right here. And you already know, I stated that there are probable masses or even hundreds of partnerships that we do not even know about due to NDAs. It's clear at this point that Ripple is becoming a monster inside the banking financial space. All paths cause XRP, in my opinion, as properly, regardless of ROUSD. Thinking about, there are numerous other stable coins too, with XRP being a perfect bridge. And yeah, I suggest, guys, when we have a look at, while we look at Medico is a massive recognition for me, in my view, Dave. Okay, we are going to return to that factor right here in a second, but I need to play this clip right here due to the fact this was at Davos and this changed into Larry Fink. This is the start. BlackRock CEO Larry Fink emphasizes that I'm a massive believer of crypto and blockchain and tokenization, and I want the SEC, this is a loopy assertion by way of the way, I want the SEC to rapidly approve the tokenization of bonds and shares. And the SEC retired tokens of OK. This first 5-minute panel with Larry Fink, so I recently went in and spoke to them about how the process going forward for immediate payments, and in particular whatever we take to inform the panel. This was from the Larry Fink. BlackRock is now setting the strain. This is a huge declaration, however, test this out. As a big believer of crypto and blockchain and tokenization, I suggest I need the SEC to hastily approve the tokenization of bonds and stocks with a purpose to simplify things, make matters simpler. Some of the tax on BlackRock. BlackRock couldn't in no way ought to vote on a proxy vote anymore because each owner or document could be notified through a tokenization of equities, and it would keep extra cash for greater human beings. It might carry down the fee of possession of inventory and bonds. Not, you already know, as a big. And yeah, I imply, pay attention, BlackRock has been very vocal on tokenization. Now, why am I bringing this up? Well, because again, when we observe Ripple custody, whilst we take a look at the Modeco acquisition, that became all cast via banks. Like that became all focused around banks. Like Ripple custody is centered on with banks and Ripple custody. It all begins with custody. Custody is the big motive force of the whole thing. We're talking about tokenization, use instances, Weir, Speak Me, approximately DeFi use instances, lending and borrowing use cases, round DeFi in terms of institutional DeFi. It all begins with custody, OK, and Society General. One name on this list. We realized again in November that they launched, nicely announced, a release of its USV stablecoin at the XRP ledger in 2025. With Ripple custody powering the combination, USV will gain from close to immediately agreement, low charge scalability, and the safety of the XRP ledger. We recognize that this became a completely massive deal. But this highlighted precisely why Ripple custody is so crucial to consciousness on, and why all of these banking partnerships that they have got, even with Modeco, are so essential to attention on. And keep in mind that Societe Generale isn't a few small, you understand, bank. It's France's third biggest financial institution through general property, after BNP Paribas and Crédit Agricole. Okay, it is likewise the 6th biggest bank in Europe and the arena's 18. When we take a look at the numbers behind this financial institution, we will see that their total property have been approximately 1.48 trillion euros. This is a huge bank. Now, once more, right behind BNP Paribas, and if you do not know, okay, BNP Paribas has, in terms of general assets, about 2.59 trillion euros in overall property, also a huge, big financial institution. However, this is not where we're aiming at. On either side of the screen, okay, this is one of the international's leading banks, second largest bank in Europe, the 8th biggest financial institution in the world. Now, I convey this up because, again, whilst we study the purchase of Modeco back in May of 2023, BNP Paribas turned into one of the great players that had been signed up. Societe Generale is properly City German banks, Decker Bank, other customers covered DZ Bank, DBS, BBVA, Standard Chartered. And plenty of those players have already stated, like Concentrate, with the use of Ripple, we want to apply Ripple, and it is loopy. It's crazy because while we have a look at these offers that Ripple has been making, while we take a look at those acquisitions and these moves, it is providing us an insight on what's occurring behind the scenes. PDS, this is going to emerge as one in every of the most important banking networks obtainable. And additionally, don't forget that Morgan Stanley became also at Davos speaking about crypto. Morgan Stanley CEO exhibits that they are collaborating with regulators to leap into Bitcoin and crypto transactions. Recreation on Big Shot to Bank XRP for this, but test it out. Business e-change glaringly is a bigger part of that. So you bought the retail aspect of it. What are you making of crypto below Trump, this Trump management? What may additionally take place and what that speaks? I suggest we have been speaking about meme coins. I don't know, in case you're following the Trump coin or the Melania coin and what that asserts about what's passed off. Well, I suppose there may be liquidity, and the liquidity you already know specific itself in all kinds of exclusive approaches. I suppose the broader question is whether a number of this has come of age, whether or not it is hit getaway pace, and, you know, time is the pal.